Hey everyone, Steve Schmid from Simple Pump Company. Today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to uninstall a Simple Pump that is also installed and integrated with a workhorse solar submersible. So we'll go through the steps of how we pull that out, because whether there's maintenance that needs to be done to the solar submersible or maybe to your Simple Pump, you're going to need to be able to uninstall that. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we want to make sure that the breaker for the solar panels for the solar submersible are off, so that there's no power going to that system. So I'm going to go into the well house here and go do that. Okay, so here's your isolator here. What we're going to do is go from on to off. So now there's no power going to that solar submersible. We can go ahead and do our thing. I've already cut power to the electric submersible, because you want to make sure there's nothing going on in there when you're doing this kind of work. All right, so the first step we need to do is I want to clean the top of the well cap. With this setup, what we have is a special installation tool that lifts the well cap off of the casing, but keeps everything secure, because we're going to need to be able to get in to cut the wires for the solar submersible. Not cut the wires, but cut the tape that's holding the wires to the pipe. Okay, real quick, what I want to do is show you how we have it wired up on this system. So what we've done, just because I've got to pull this system in and out for testing and so forth on a normal basis, is I've got my normal submersible cable coming in here through the side of the casing, and then over here is the cable for the solar submersible, for the workhorse solar submersible. This approach versus having it come in through the top absolutely makes it easier to maintenance, because you don't have to worry about moving the cables to the side, and you can still do that when you have that coming through the top. You've just got to make sure that you've got some extra cable on the inside of the casing, so that when you lift it, it can expand up. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to go ahead and grab I got a rag here with some bleach solution, and just kind of clean up the top of this, because we're going to have water that's in the pipe, because we've got our check valves at the bottom that will drop over this cap and then down into the well. So you want to make sure that the path is clean and sterilized. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to loosen up the cap. So this is a 3/16 on our normal 8-inch cap. If you have a much older system, it'll be a little smaller. We're just going to loosen these up. All right, now if we take a look at our mechanism here, so basically it's just a standoff. What we want to do is we want to have something that gets over the casing itself to stay secure, and then these go in the groove of the well cap, so everything's nice and in place, so that when you're doing your work, that you've got full safety of the system, and no issues with the cap falling off or anything falling in the well. So what we're going to do is we're going to need 2 people to get to this point, so that we can, one of us is going to lift it up. I'm going to lift that up, and then this is going to slide in, and we're going to settle things down, and then we'll put the plates here and screw them in, so that everything's nice and secure. So Chris, if you could come help. So then this would come directly through here, right? Because you're going to have the pipe going down. Okay, perfect. All right, so as you can see, we've got these grooves here over the edge of the casing, and we've got the nubs that we have up top up in the groove from the bottom side of the cap. So very stable. We're going to put our cross braces on now. These come with wing nuts so that it's easy to take them on and off. They don't have to be overly tight, but you want them tight enough to be able to make sure everything is secure here. Obviously want to be careful here because the well is exposed, so trying not to drop anything down in. Those, just finger tight's good here. It's just to continue to give it structure. All right, now you can see very secure. We can continue to go with our process here. All right, so from this point forward, it's going to be very, very similar to your normal method of uninstalling a simple pump. There's going to be a few exceptions to that, and I'll show you those as we get to them. But for now, the next step we want to do is we want to remove our handle so that that's out of the way. So we're going to take our 3/16 again. I'm going to remove the bolts from the handle bracket. So you break them loose, should be able to get them with your fingers. Just lift up on it a little bit. All right, set that down like that. Next, we need to loosen the clevis. Now remember, this is left-hand threads. So in order for us to loosen it, we need to go clockwise. So you can kind of leverage use the leverage of the handle and break that loose. Whoops. Okay. Then go ahead and get that screwed. All right, go ahead and put our handle over here. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to remove the split flange. Now in a normal simple pump install, you know, this is connected to the casing and it's tight. So it's easier to get this part of it out. So what we do in this situation is we're actually going to remove these bolts on the top all the way, and we're not gonna loosen up that pinch bolt yet, because we need to make it so it's a bit easier to pick up, because this is not, you know, secured to the actual casing or to the cap. So what we're gonna do is just get these all the way out. All right, we'll go set these over here for now. All right, so this next step, what we want is a helper because none of this is secured down. It's all being held by the weight of the system. So what we have is someone here to kind of secure this cap as we lift this up to get that safety tool underneath. So what we're gonna do is bring this up. Can be a little tricky, but once that's up, here we are now. We've got our system secure. Now, what I do suggest in this situation, though, is that you want to get your split flange back underneath, just so that safety tool is more secure, because it's got notches that are exact to the bolts on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this split flange here. We're going to bring it down to the bottom. We're going to get our bolts, and then with our helper, we're going to lift it up, get the split flange underneath the safety tool, and then get those bolts put back in. So I'm going to grab my bolts here and my wrench and have loosen this real quick. All right, so then this is now down and off of here, okay? And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna lift it up again, and Chris is gonna pull the safety tool out. We're gonna drop the split flange back down, and then we will put the bolts in it. Okay, go ahead and put the safety tool down. All right, so we'll kind of line things up here. Can move that safety tool a little bit so that we can get our bolts back in. It doesn't have to be tight, just kind of get it down to where it touches. But you can rotate your safety tool so you can get access to those holes. Okay, then I can just pick it up, get it back onto the right spot, and then this last one will go in aligned here. All right, so now we're back to the next steps that are a bit more like what we do in our typical installation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pump head assembly off right here, the coupling and the first connection. Okay, once we get loose, we can do it by hand. Well, we should be able to. Got a little premature on that. Grab this. Needed to get a little bit looser. Okay, so we're done there. Bring that up over the top. Put this to the side. Next, we're going to take the pump rod off. Okay, put this to the side. Now, what you can see right here, right, we've got the taping of our submersible wire to our submersible pump, or to our pipe. So what I want to do is I'm going to put the wire on this this tarp here just to keep it out of the dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this first section of tape, and also, you know, there's always a little bit extra. You want to make sure you have a little extra wire just so that you can looks like I got a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get it uncoiled here so that it comes out clean. So we're over to this side. All right, so I'm going to cut the tape here. Make sure you don't cut the insulation on the wire. You'll see in here you also have your low water sensor wire as well. That has to be brought up with every section. Okay. A little breezy here. All right. So our next step, and this is going to be our step for the next, I believe there's 7 drop pipe kits in this system, is that we are going to pull a pipe. Oh, got to remember our rod guide. I think once we get this cable on there, that'll be held down a little better. So what we're gonna do is gonna lift this up just like we would in a normal install. All right, so we've got our first piece up, and we're just gonna take it apart like we would with a normal system. Uninstall. And because of that weep hole, we're going to start hitting water. It's going to get a little messy. That, go put our wrenches down for a minute. pipe down. Grab our wrenches. You can use a 5/16 open end if you want for this. Either one works, either that or a crescent wrench. All right, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this right back in the pipe. Best way to store this. Okay. Pull our rod guide out. Pull our cable out. Okay, so now we're back up at our next tape joint. Okay. And now we'll just pull it back up for the next length of pipe. All right, we are now down to the last drop pipe. So this process is a little different because we got to be able to get that cable out because we got to pull the whole system out. But the reason we came with the cable through the top here versus coming through the bottom was so that at this point what we do is we just remove this top strap. Go ahead and put these pieces over here. All right, so now we're going to get our helper, have Chris come over. It's going to be similar. I'm going to pull this up, and now he's going to lift the cap up, the whole cap assembly. I'm going to grab it from below. He's going to take that off, and then he's going to take the whole cap off the top. And then we're just going to bring the whole system up and out. Okay, so bring this over here. See, all we're left with is our wires coming out here. So trying to move on us here. So now we have our system out. We can do all of our maintenance. We can, pull this off by pulling our plate here. So now this is off, and there is full access to the well. So if you need to remove If you need to remove your submersible, then you can do that. Or if you need to maintain either the workhorse solar submersible or your Simple Pump, now you're good to go. If you have any questions, you can always contact Simple Pump Company, and we'll help you out. Thank you for your time today, and don't forget to subscribe.